Hey crafty babes, it's Andrea. I am back with, I don't know, what are we gonna do? We're probably gonna flip through something and you might be surprised or you might not be, but I have decided to incorporate pocket pages again for my personal scrapbook because I'm a pocket girl and I just cannot stay away. So as much as I love the Traveler's Notebook style, I am still going to do pocket pages, and I'm going to have both formats for my personal documentation. So I had this extra Simple Stories snap binder sitting around. That was a lot of S's. And it's a 6x8 album, which is my favorite size for a personal album. And let's take a look at some of the things I've done recently. I love the simplicity of pocket pages. They are so fun and they just allow it to be simple. You have 3x4 cards, you have 3x4 photos, you put cards and embellishments that coordinate with your photos and bam, it's done. So this is one that I did for Felicity Jane. This is using the Willow kit, which was so pretty. These simple, tiny little flowers were really fun. They went with my shirt. This light pink and kind of coral color was a really nice to work with. So this was basically me wearing some earrings that I made out of, what do you call it? I think the material is resin. They were actually scrapbooking materials that I used and made earrings out of them. So that's how DIY it gets around here. This is using all of the Reset Girl stuff from one of her kits. I believe this one, oh goodness, I forget. She's had so many good ones lately. But this is basically just a black and white layout with some orange pops of color because that's the color of my shirt, and I had so much fun just picking one color. It was really fun to dig through my stash and find things that were just orange. It was really fun. I did this for Ellie Studio and it was kind of sad because it was done as we were starting to pack up the house and move. So I had already taken a bunch of these photos from around the house because I was at the time documenting my house and just the way that we lived in our home. I was documenting that in a Traveler's Notebook style album. And so I had these leftover photos and I really figured it was a good way to document just a couple of things that I really loved about the house. So I used this for the record list and the numbers are already printed on it, and I just added the coordinating bullet journal basically for each of the photos. And then let's see, I stapled this Us Right Now to this star card and used this Funko Pop people maker, I guess, that I found on Facebook and made all of us into Funko Pop characters. And then here I added a couple of Ellie Studio puffy hearts. They are so cute. And then I took a little Sharpie pen. Actually, it's this pen right here. This Sharpie paint water-based pen. And shake it up really good, do a couple of test runs on a piece of paper, scratch piece of paper, and the dots and writing come out super smooth. So this was also done with the white pen, and then I used it for some little accents and some dimension on the hearts. And that is about it for this page. I did this one recently using Felicity Jane Kate and had so much fun with this layout because I ran into this meme somewhere along the line and saved it, and the meme that I printed didn't really go with what I was doing here, so I just decided to handwrite the quote instead. So I just cut out some of the papers and used a couple of the 3x4 journaling cards and had fun with this one. It was all about hammock time. So this was like the first or second day that I got my hammock, but I was pretty much in it every day until I had to break it down and move. So I loved it so much and can't wait to have another place where I can have my hammock back. So you have to let me know if you have a hammock. Oh my gosh, how much do you love it? Because I love my hammock so much. This is a really fun layout that I super enjoyed this because all I had was one photo, and in the photo, how I normally decide what supplies and colors I'm going to use is I look obviously at the photo, and in this photo I've got blue and black and green. That's all I had. So those were the colors I was trying to go with, and the LE Studio, I think this was the June kit actually, just had those colors in them, and I decided that orange looked really great with the green and the blue. So sometimes even if the colors aren't already decided for you, or aren't, you know, maybe you don't have a card that, you know, has all those colors in it for you, like a starter card. Like sometimes you start with a card that has all the colors in it, and then you use that to pick and choose, you know, the colors that you spread around. But sometimes if you just have two colors, even though they're green and blue, maybe you just add red or add yellow or add orange. It's really fun to just add colors together and see what you come up with. So I really love spreading color around. So I made sure that I had blue kind of everywhere and green kind of spread around and orange spread around. So that's to me how the best balance is created with Pocket Pages. It's just making sure you have enough color and that you also have enough white and dark things, balancing things out. So like my shirt is dark and the picture and photo is kind of dark itself, and so this card over here, while it has a lot of white and light in it, it is a darker card. So I put it opposite, and then also used this wood grain piece of paper as a 3x4 card in order to pull a little bit more of the darkness down a little bit so that it felt balanced and not too top heavy. So a little tip for you. So this was really fun. I used the Currently card to talk about just things about me at the time, and I wasn't reading anything, so I just filled it in with a little die cut. And I think that's it. Oh, another thing I've been doing and loving lately is the clusters. If you have followed my scrapbooking for a while, you know that I typically tend to lean toward a pretty clean aesthetic, but lately the stamps that have been coming out and just a lot of the design that I see, I'm really drawn to these clusters of shapes. So I love that. Actually, this is a Gossamer Blue cluster stamp, this heart, and then these plus signs are from LE Studio. So I actually combined the two and used some clusters because I'm getting a little more comfortable with that, and it feels really good. It feels good to be a little messy. I actually think this may have been the first page that I did to kind of get back into the 6x8 Pocket Pages, because I had this photo of myself in this polka dot sweater, which is my absolute favorite, and then I had this card from Gossamer Blue and this card from Gossamer Blue, and I kind of had them sitting together separate, and like I knew I needed to use these cards together. And then I ended up with one of the Reset Girls new kits, and this pink was just absolutely perfect for it, and like the pink camera, and this, I have some stamps of some of the planner honeys, and I just loved this color combination. So loved it, was super fun. There's like basically no real rhyme or reason to this page other than colors and sayings that I absolutely adore. So sometimes there just doesn't have to be a story, and really all it ended up being was just that I love polka dots and there was sunshine and my sunglasses were on. Like, it can just be that simple. You don't have to have a grand story every time you make a page. It can be just as simple as you want it. Here are two separate 6x8 pages, so let's go through this one first. This one turned out so fun. I love this color yellow, obviously, and look how cute that looks with the Simple Stories binder. So cute. So I had this picture of myself in one of my very favorite dresses. I found this dress at Charming Charlie a couple of years ago, actually about 3 years ago now, and had all these fun yellow supplies in one of the recent kits from LA Studio, and thought that it would be really fun to just go with a black and white and yellow theme, and really had some fun with this one. So I added a little striped button to go with my shirt here right on top of that sunshine, and used some staples and some stamps and really fun stars to just balance it out, throw stuff in here that really felt like it went. So that is so much fun. And I bought my very first Feed Your Craft kit, designed by Brandy Kincaid, because it was awesome. And this card, You Get Me, is from that kit. And I had this photo of one of my favorite Mexican places that we brought home one night for dinner. And then I don't know where I found this, again, like Pinterest or Instagram or something, but I always like to screenshot memes and quotes that I like so that I can use them later in my albums. And this was so perfect. So all I added, honestly, it was like the simplest page I think I've ever done. I put the quote on top of a 3x4 card, threw a piece of washi down, and wrote Dear Unknown, because the quote was from Unknown. So I said, Dear Unknown, you get me. Because seriously, life without Mexican food is like no life at all. And that, my friends, is what I have so far in this newly formed 6x8 personal album. So I will keep forging ahead and getting this filled up as I'm still working on my traveler's notebook, which I will also be sharing. So if you have any questions, you know that you can always leave a comment, and you know that I will respond and answer as quickly as I can. And I hope that you enjoyed watching a flip through. Talk to you guys really soon.